Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House.
Massive human trafficking. It's a record 288 people arrested.
They're not reporting the real numbers.
The numbers are segmented and they are fictitious.
I started my career in 1997 in the United States Border Patrol. It was one of the most violent times in recent Border Patrol history. I made my bones and my reputation on that border. I believe what is happening on the border today is intentional.
We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them.
Our own government is facilitating the absolute destruction of the American immigration system, and I can prove it point by point. I'm unafraid to speak the truth. This is just data-driven and experience-driven.
Oh, come on.
Welcome to Truth with J.J. Carrell, and that was America this past weekend. Keep telling yourself diversity is our strength. Diversity is our strength. Say it enough. Say it over the last, 2-3 decades? We all believe it. We just had last night a renowned Spanish singer go to the LA Dodgers Stadium and sing the national anthem in Spanish. Well, this shouldn't shock anyone. It doesn't shock me. This is the same organization that let the, what do they call these, something sisters of impetual indulgence, basically a bunch of transgender homosexual men dressing up in nuns' costumes to mock the Catholic Church and Christianity. They allowed them to have their own day in Dodger Stadium. So this is not shocking to me at all. Keep telling yourself that diversity is a strength. There's nothing right now that has any strength in America. America is splitting at the seams. I'm going to get into today, I'm going to get into Donald Trump and I'm going to get into Donald Trump's asinine idea of pausing deportations of certain groups in America. We are seeing MAGA split. And we're splitting on immigration, and we're splitting on another Middle Eastern war, Iran versus Israel. Again, we have listened to the same script over and over and over again. I'm reading an article on Mark Levin, who exceptionally intelligent man. I've purchased and read many of his books. I used to listen to him all the time, driving to work. late at night. I work midnight shift, and I would listen to his podcast replay. But over time, I began to tire of people like him, Ben Shapiro, Regular News. Look, I still listen to Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin, highly, highly intelligent people, but I disagree with them on quite a bit now. Because as I said, I'm reading an article of Mark Levin of his recent show, and it's the same verbiage, the exact same script of weapons of mass destruction. We have to go in and topple Saddam Hussein in Iraq because he has weapons of mass destruction. Afghanistan, it's paramount for peace in the Middle East. Oh, we got to go to Yemen, and now we got to go to now it's Iran. It's the same script. Well, if we don't stop Iran, they're going to have a nuclear war, and it's going to be terrible for the United States and the West, and blah, 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 blah. Same crap. But I will guarantee you, with 100% certainty, there will be no sons of Mark Levin, no sons of Ben Shapiro going over to fight for the Jews in Israel. Not going to happen. There will be a lot of sons with the names Carrell on the back of their chest or their nameplate. A lot of Joneses from the middle of America, not Middle East. There's going to be Thomases, Jeffersons, but none of the wealthy families are going to send their children to fight a war in the Middle East. I have something that is my litmus test if I was president and as I'm now a commentator in what I write about and talk about. If my beautiful little son, who will be 14 soon, so he is within 4 years of being drafted in a World War III, if I would not send my beautiful son to fight in a war that could leave him maimed, psychologically damaged, his life completely altered, and or die. If I won't send my son, then I sure in the hell ain't going to send yours. But when you have Lindsay Don't Ask, Don't Tell Graham, that has no children, Mark Levin, Shapiro, the rhinos, they sure in the hell will send your sons. Well, why? I'm going to have to sit here and listen to my priests and pastors of all faiths and religion tell me that the greatest ally of the West, my greatest ally, is Israel. Okay, can we, the same Israel that mocks my Savior, mocks me and makes fun of me and my family and our beliefs, that's my best friend. That's my best friend. Okay. As I told my son too, when he talked about World War III, what are you going to do, Dad? Well, I tell him I will probably lie about my age, and I'll try to go into the Marines as an officer. But I'm not going into World War III to go fight for Israel. Are you insane? Against the boogeyman in Iran? The same boogeymen that we had in Afghanistan, that they live in caves. The same boogeyman that was Iraq. They had no weapons of mass destruction. It wasn't a intel mistake. It was a lie. Why do you think the Middle East wants nuclear weapons? Why do you think that the Middle East is so agitated? Are they a bunch of maniacs? Yeah. But maybe when you're bombed to smithereens and you're told that democracy is the greatest thing in the world, and then you institute democracy, and then you vote in the people you want, and the West tells you, nope, we're just joking. Democracy's that's not a thing. Basically, we're going to do democracy, but we're going to tell you who's going to be selected. That's how we do it in America. We like to give you a choice and then just steal it and tell you who to do it. So now we have massive destruction all across the Middle East, and then we're shocked that they hate the West. And I can already hear the cries of, you're an isolationist, and isolation just brings on world war. No, actually it doesn't. I don't believe in that. I don't believe you can connect dots for that. What are we 6 months into Make America Great Again? And we're talking about some quasi type of amnesty for field workers and service people. And now we're talking about another Middle Eastern war. You can say what you want. We supplied the weapons to Israel. We coordinated with them. Donald Trump said it out loud that he did it. He knew about it. Why are we thrusting ourselves into conflicts and wars that we have no business being in? What in God's name are we doing here in America? We're $36 trillion in debt on the bottom of the debt line. We can go as high as $210 trillion. People can't even get their mind wrapped around it. And all that money was just stolen anyway. But now you're telling me we're either going to take parts of our budget and give it to overseas for another $10 trillion war, or we're going to just print this trillions of dollars in thin air and infuse it, and therefore devalue our dollar even more. Piss off all the other nations across the globe even more. Why? Because their money's tied to our dollar. Who is the country that is involved in every war, skirmish, conflict in the world? There's one country that's tied to all of it. Do we know who that country is? Well, that would be the United States of America. Do you understand we're the common denominator? It's like when I was in the Border Patrol and I was a manager, and I would have employee problems, right? Either supervisor, agents. And one thing I always found when there was a problem, if I stepped back and didn't look at it like an isolated problem and looked at the bigger things, like what are the conflicts in my station? What's the problems that are happening in my station? 9 times out of 10, there were multiple issues that I was handling, and they always had 1 or 2 people in the middle of all of it. And how did those 1 or 2 people were connected to all the conflicts in my station? Then everyone that was in this conflict circle didn't know about the other. Like they didn't have conflict with each other. There was just conflict was between these group of people, individuals, with these 2 individual. Then you begin to understand, okay, wait a minute. Maybe this individual that's being allegated against for bad behavior, maybe some of it's garbage, but all of it? If I have 8 people complaining about one guy and they don't know about each other, are all 8 of them lying about one guy, and one guy just has such bad luck that he has internal problems with 8 different people, and he's right on every one of them? Statistically, that's improbable. Same thing with America. Same thing with America. I sit here and I rail against Ilhan Omar because she has dual citizenship, and I believe, one allegiance, as she's openly stated, Somalia. So if I'm going to talk about someone like her, then I have to talk about the people that have dual allegiance and dual citizenship with Israel. Why are all of their voting records, why do they lean toward Israel? Why is pouring money into Israel beneficial to the United States of America? Go ahead, try to convince me weapons of mass destruction, the cavemen in the Middle East that don't even have electricity and running water are going to somehow find their way all the way to America and then kill us and blah, blah, blah. Here we go. What's interesting, very interesting to me, if I removed Israel from the equation and it was a war, Iran was warring with Uganda, you wouldn't hear a peep. You wouldn't hear a peep. No one would say anything. It'd be like under the fold on page 69 of the New York Times. Normal, regular papers across the Tulsa, Times-Picayune, New Orleans, it wouldn't even make the news. Then what's so special about Israel? Why do we have to give all of our money to Israel? Why are we in fights, wars for Israel? You can never get a really great answer either. God's chosen people, I hear you. They're our greatest ally. Don't believe that. Sorry. Don't believe it. Or they're the glue that holds the Middle East. Nope, don't believe it. Well, these people are going to come attack us. I don't believe it. Same thing in Vietnam, right? Vietnam, they were going to get in their rickety boats and come over and spread communism in America. 50,000 deaths later, when everybody knew, and history shows that this was an absolute debacle, a purposeful debacle. How many more people have to die for senseless wars? I was just on a podcast. It was kind of like a debate podcast. And this gentleman trying to convince me that Vietnam War was good and rebuilding Japan and Germany were great. As I'm telling him, I've been to Hiroshima. I have been to multiple states of Germany and multiple cities in Japan. Cities and states in Germany. And I said, you know what is amazing? Is Germany and Japan are spectacular. Spectacular. Japan, I got on a train, a true bullet train, not a California bullet train, a real bullet train from Hiroshima to Osaka. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We did it. America did it. You know where else I've been in America? Outside of Germany and Japan, in America? I've been to St. Louis. I've been to Detroit. I've been to Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, all the border towns, Indiana. And you know what I saw there? It looks like Hiroshima in Detroit. They say there's so many abandoned, broken down, destroyed buildings in Detroit that if we raised every single one of them and brought it down, bulldozed it, it would take us 40 years. Gary, Indiana, ghost town. St. Louis, death. Do you think any of the trillions of dollars we sent overseas could have been used to help those cities? Do you think? You think any of the tens of billions, hundreds of billions we've given to Israel could have benefited just a few Americans? Just a few. I think it could, and it should. I don't think we should be sending money anywhere. Anywhere. If I'm struggling to pay my mortgage, get food on the table, get clothes on my kids' back, having a car that works, why in the hell would I be paying my neighbor's mortgage and making sure my neighbor's children had enough food? It's common sense. Donald Trump, you ran on common sense. How about we use some of it? This weekend, if you don't feel like you need to be prepared after this weekend and everything that's coming, there's an absolute feeling of unease right now in America. We can all feel it, and it's in every facet of our lives. At least I do. Maybe I'm an anomaly. I'll say that out loud. Maybe I'm the anomaly. Let me tell you how I feel. I feel that I need to be prepared. I need to have sat phones. I have connectability with my family. My son's going to be driving soon. He has like an e-bike, so he's taking off with his friends. I need a way to communicate with him as things go sideways, or if they do, or I just want to speak with him. So I go to sat123.com. That is a sponsor of our show that I am proud to have a partnership with. And I have a sat phone. My son has a ballistic backpack from them. You have to be connected. Look, the sat phone can go up to $2,000. You get a subscription, a monthly subscription from sat123.com, and you get a free sat phone. A free sat phone. We have riots across America. Do you think those riots, to include illegal aliens from the Middle East, the PLA soldiers from China, the over 200,000 Russians that came here, over 1 million Venezuelans, 500,000 voodoo Haitians, 200,000 special interest aliens, those are terrorists, all crossed in the last 4 years. Do you think that they're not going to attack our infrastructure? I am prepared. I implore you to be prepared. Just go to sat123.com. Just go there and just look at their products. Have a question? Call the number on the screen. Guess what you're going to get? You won't believe it. It's shocking. You're going to get a live operator. And here's even better. English isn't a second language from Bangladesh, or some dialect in India or China. Nope, you're going to get an American citizen that speaks English. No pressing this number to get to the other 17 numbers before I get somewhere. Nope, you're going to get a human being. Shocking, I know. Go to sat123.com/JJ or just call the number on the screen. I want to show you this video. I alluded to it earlier. I can't believe Donald Trump is going down this road. Just play this video for me, please, Caleb, and then I'll comment on it. But it's unnerving.
Farmers are being hurt badly by, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be, great. And we're going to have to do something about that. We can't take farmers and take all their people and send them back because they don't have maybe what they're supposed to have, maybe not. And you know what's going to happen and what is happening? They get rid of some of the people because, you go into a farm and you look and people they've been there for 20, 25 years and they've worked great and the owner of the farm loves them and everything else. And then you're supposed to throw them out. And you know what happens? They end up hiring the people, the criminals that have come in, the murderers from prisons and everything else. So we're going to have an order on that pretty soon, I think. We can't do that to our farmers and leisure too, hotels. We're going to have to use a lot of common sense on that.
And my other question about the Middle East.
I, where the hell do we even start with this? Okay, let's just start at the top. And let's make sure we're talking about the businesses, okay? We're not talking about a small 50-acre farm in Iowa where it's grandma, grandpa, maybe the son's there with his wife and kids, and then the other, a hotel in Nebraska. It's a family-owned bed and breakfast with, maybe has like 20, 30 rooms. No, we're talking about massive farms, corporate agriculture. We're talking about Tyson chicken plants, meat processing plants. We're talking about enormous hotel chains in the hospitality industry. That's what Donald Trump's talking about. That's who Donald Trump now has aligned with, the Better Business Bureau, the Chamber of Commerce. That's who he's just aligned with. Those people that they're not legal citizens. No, sir, words matter, Mr. Trump. Those are called illegal aliens. And you're saying, well, they've been breaking the law for 20, 25 years. Well, they're just good people. What the hell are you talking about? Are you America first, or are you not? Do you know that we have a program already, or had a program for decades called the Bracero program? So when big farms and big ag could not get enough workers, that we had a process, or hotel workers, we had a process where we would have these people from Mexico, Central America, were vetted, brought into America, worked, and went back home. Guess what? They don't want that. Why? Because the people in the Bracero program were paid the proper wage. They had Social Security. They had workers' comp if they got hurt. They had all the same protections as Americans had. And those employers had to pay payroll tax, Social Security, workers' comp. But now they don't, because they have illegal aliens by the thousands, tens of thousands of them working for them. No payroll tax, no Social Security tax, no workers' comp. Don't have to pay them the proper wage. I can pay them less money under the table, and it's straight time and money. There's no protections for them. They get hurt, too bad. What are you going to do? You don't exist. That's what Donald Trump is trying to do. Donald Trump has just asked for a quasi-amnesty. A quasi-amnesty if you just work in the fields or work in the service industry. Who's going to implement this? Who's going to be the overseer? The murderers and rapists. It's so sophomoric, I don't even want to give Donald Trump the time to discuss this. I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for any of this. If he would have said this from day one, I would have been the very loud critic saying, no, this is absurd. Absolutely absurd. What Donald Trump is asking, he's asking for an amnesty for these people. And then on top of that, he's asking or demanding that American citizens subsidize the cheap labor for big ag and for service industries. Do you think those illegal aliens that are working in the farms, they have medical coverage? The answer, of course, is no. So who pays for it? Well, we do. We pay for their children to go to school and their health care. We give them WIC. We give them SNAP. They get housing, Section 8. They get an earned income tax credit, which is, I think, a little over $3,500 a year now. That because they're at the, quote, poverty line, they get a TIN, a TIN number, or some fake Social Security, and they go ahead and apply and do a tax return showing that they're under the poverty line and our government gives them an earned income tax credit. Hell, I can go on and on and on. But the bottom line is that our president is going to tell us that we are going to continue to work our ass off in order to pay for all of the goodies the illegals need to survive in order to work on the farms, in our hotels for under the wage. How in God's name is that America first? How is that even fair? How's that even fair? And then I heard Donald Trump, and this is from a guy that is the biggest, I am one of the biggest Donald Trump supporters. I'm hearing Donald Trump talk about, well, people in the media or in the podcasting world are saying that this isn't America first. And how dare us say that, because he coined the phrase, and there was no Make America Great Again. There was no America First prior to him coming. Hold on, what? You created the slogan, Make America Great Again. But I've been screaming to the hilltops, how about we take care of America first for decades? You don't own America First. You don't own that. You want to trademark MAGA? Fine, I'm all for that. Had never heard of MAGA before you came. Absolutely, 100% behind you, Mr. Trump. But America First? Are you kidding me? America First has been since the founding of our country, America First. It doesn't make sense what Donald Trump is saying. And it makes less sense when you see what he just tweeted out. Can you pull this up for me? Caleb, I'm going to read it off my phone, okay? This is a tweet that he said. I'm going to read it. I have directed my entire administration to put every resource possible behind this effort and reverse the tide of mass destruction, migration that has turned once idyllic towns into scenes of third world dystopia. Our federal government will continue to focus on the re-migration of aliens to places from where they came and preventing the admission of anyone who undermines the domestic tranquility of the United States of America. To ICE, FBI, DEA, ATF, and the Patriots at the Pentagon and State Department, you have my unwavering support. Now, go get the job done. Let's go. That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. God. Donald Trump, maybe you need some men like me that have done this job, that knows the reason why these idyllic towns are now absolute cesspools, are third world dumps. I wrote about it in my book, Treason. Small towns across America. Drunk driving, prostitution, drugs, domestic violence, theft, fights and assaults. Where do you think that's happening, sir, in these small idyllic towns? How is that happening? Could it be the farmhands? Could it be any of the maids and service workers? Or are they just all really great citizens of whatever country they came from? Everyone I arrested had a rap sheet. Here's the common. It was so common that we wouldn't basically even write in our reports. It was like, I arrested an illegal alien, and I don't really need to talk about these crimes because we all know they have them. So it's an assumed fact. The sky's blue, the sun's shining, there's clouds in the sky. This illegal alien that I just arrested will have these crimes. There will be some kind of spousal abuse. There will be drunken in public, and there will be drunk driving. Mandatory. It's like they got those charges when they crossed the border. Hey, Juan or Mohammed or Sergio, Boom, here you go. Here's 3 charges. We just kind of, it's like a board game. You come across this area, you're just going to get them. They're yours. So this idea that Donald Trump has that we're going to allow these people to work because the major businesses are demanding an amnesty for their workers, and you're going to pay for it, America. You're going to pay for it all of it. Make America great again, America first. One thing that I am, at least I'm fair and I'm honest. This Joe Biden, I'd be saying the damn same thing about Joe Biden. What in God's name are you talking about, man? You cannot say, President Trump, that you're going to give some quasi-amnesty to the farm workers and the service industry. What else? What else are you going to give? Come on, this is not going to be the last, because all the other businesses are going to come out and say, wait a minute, you did this for these and others. Let's get, what about my business? Where are you going to draw the line? How about we draw the line that if you're illegal, you are removed from our country? Could we start there? I think that's a fair place to start. If you're illegal, get out of my country. I want to create, and then the farm workers say, the farm corporations, giant ag and giant hotel. Well, why don't we reinstitute the Bracero program? That's fine. That's fine. Everyone get the hell out of my country. And guess what? If you went to the hotels and you went to big ag and you said, we're going to start the Bracero program up again, they'd be like, we can't do that. What's going to happen for the first month? Why? Well, there's going to be a transition. Yeah. Well, let's make America great again. Let's make America first. No. I don't want the Bracero. Why don't you want the Bracero program? There's millions of people that want to come in and work. And if you're saying we need them, then let's bring them in. No. We like it the way it is. Well, we don't like it the way it is. Why are you adverse to stop employing illegal aliens and then bring the Bracero program, the legal immigrants in, and it's going to be everyone wins? Well, no, not everybody wins, you see, because when the Bracero program people come in, there's going to be a supply and demand issue. And I'm going to have to pay those workers the proper wage. I can't pay them 50 cents on the dollar that I do with Americans to have cheap labor. I have to pay workers' comp. I have to pay in the Social Security. I have to do everything that a normal business does for an American citizen. Does it start to make sense now? This is a money grab. And if you think for a second that the labor cost that is saved by the major corporations, that they're passing it on to you to make your purchasing power more robust for you, you believe that? Then I have something to tell you. Joe Biden won the 2020 election, and he was sharp as he's ever been. This was the greatest version of Biden, as that giant-headed fool from Morning Joe stated. You believe that? This is what Donald Trump is trying to sell you. And at the same time, he's saying, go out there and arrest these people. I'm going to tell you a quick story that I just said when I did a take on this on the Vault today. There is no way, and any law enforcement officer will tell you, outside of a guy that's got face tats and sleeves on his arm and the way outside of that, there's no way that you can tell who is a murderer, a rapist, someone has a long rap sheet of assaults and burglaries and drunk driving, beating their wives, blah, blah, blah. You can't tell that. And I tell this story that this is what changed my whole trajectory of my career, of how I worked in the field. I was working midnight shifts. It was by 2 a.m. A ground sensor goes off on the border. I run north of the border sensor on the trail, and here comes an illegal alien, and I arrest him. I didn't cuff him. This was about 1999, so I had to be in about a year and a half. And he and I are talking, and I decide I'm not going to cuff you. I'm going to arrest. You're under arrest. I'm just not going to cuff you. We're going to walk this trail back to my vehicle, put you in the vehicle, take you to the station. Just don't run. He's looking at me thinking, I'm not going to outrun this guy. And when he catches me, I'm going to be in a lot of pain and suffering. And I'm looking at him. He's about buck 15, soaking wet, maybe about 5'5", 5'7". There's nothing going to happen. That's how I thought as a new, stupid grunt. Take him back to the station, enroll him into the system, and lo and behold, I have a murderer standing in front of me. That changed me completely. Completely. That was like a absolute cold shower. Wake up, JJ. This is the world you're in. And the world you're in is you do not have the ability to make the determination what is a decent, hardworking human being and what's a murderer. And everything in between, you have no capability. If you can't determine that this guy's a murderer, how in the hell were you going to determine that he just likes to steal things? Or he just likes to beat his wife, or he likes to just be into kiddie porn? You have no idea. You don't have the tools. No one does. So treat everyone that you encounter and you arrest as a potential murderer, meaning you go through the steps, cuff them, search them, do everything for your safety because you don't know. Same thing now, Donald Trump. You're telling me as a law enforcement officer to go out and make that somehow determination that's a field worker, that's somebody that just cleans toilets, and this is a murder. It's impossible. It's stupid. It is everything that you ran against. You ran against stupidity and wanted common sense. I'm telling you what you are now champion or trying to get through this quasi-amnesty, this idea that law enforcement can make a determination between the bad guys, the quote worst of the worst, and just field hands. That is not common sense. That absurdity. Here's a MAGA is about to rip apart. MAGA is about to rip apart, and we're seeing it. There are two topics that are ripping us apart right now, and one is the immigration that he just came up this weekend, and it is just spreading like wildfire, and everyone is just like, oh dear God, have we been lied to? And the other one is another endless, stupid Middle Eastern war. Before I show you this next clip of Ted Cruz trying his damnedest to talk about how important it is to blow up Iran, let's talk about another sponsor, and that's Bella Grace. Shop bellagrace.com/truth. They have an elixir. I don't know if, Caleb, you can show that commercial, but I want to talk about the elixir that I have. I take it every day in the morning, and it is changing my skin. It is changing my gut and my inflammation, which is the number one cause of all kind of disease and ailments is inflammation. And I believe in this product. I use the restorative sleep gummies at night when I have to listen to Donald Trump spew something like he does, and it makes my mind race, and I can't slow down. So I use these products at Bella Grace. They have a multitude of other products, and I believe in this company. Go to shopbellagrace.com/truth, and let's watch Abby as she tells you about the product.
Elevate your skin's natural radiance with the Bella Grace Dewy Serum, your go-to for smooth, hydrating, and glowy skin. Infused with nourishing ingredients, it provides deep hydration, a soft texture, and a luminous, dewy finish. Like, come on, look at that. Whether you're at home, on the go, or heading to practice like me, Bella Grace Dewy Serum fits seamlessly into your daily routine. Glow from within all day long. Bella Grace Dewy Serum. To get your hands on this product, go to www.shopbellagrace.com/truth. Start your day with the glow that comes from within. Introducing Bella Grace Elixir, a beauty secret that nurtures your skin from the inside out. Packed with natural ingredients, Bella Grace helps collagen production, reduce fine lines, and restore your youthful glow. And the best part? Bella Grace is perfect for your busy life. Take it with you on the go wherever you go. Bella Grace Elixir. Discover the secret to timeless beauty. To get your hands on this product, go to www.shopbellagrace.com/truth.
So the next topic that is going to destroy the MAGA movement, and that is the war in the Middle East. I want to play this. It's about 2 minutes, but it's worth it. It's Ted Cruz trying to convince Maria Bartiromo that this is righteous to go into Iran, and blow up Iran. Do me a favor, when you're watching this video, I want you to think about, instead of Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Yemen, the other countries, Syria that we blew up in the Middle East. Replace Iran with those other countries and ask yourself, haven't I heard this before? Haven't I heard this pitch before? Maybe you have. Go ahead, Caleb. Can you play this Ted Cruz video?
So I'm gonna break it down for you.
Oh, that's not it.
And if
I'm sorry. Yep. Can you put in? It's going to be right after the X post on arresting illegal aliens. Will America be dragged into another senseless, endless Middle East war? You can cut this out too, I'm sure. Edit it out. Do you see it? Yep, there it is. All right. Thanks, man.
President Trump drew a very clear red line in the sand. He said on April 12th, he told Iran, you have 60 days to negotiate. I led a coalition of 52 Republican senators, and we all said we stand with President Trump. President Trump has been clear that the standard for any deal must be complete dismantlement, no centrifuges, no enrichments. There is no reason a theocratic lunatic who chants death to America should have nuclear weapons, the tools to murder millions of Americans or millions of Israelis.
Right.
On the 61st day, the Ayatollah publicly said he would not shut down a single centrifuge. He said he would build more centrifuges. He would make more enriched uranium in order to make more nuclear weapons. That was effectively, Maria, a giant middle finger at President Trump. But it was also a message to Israel, we're not going to stop. And if you don't act, you're going to find out when we've achieved success with a mushroom cloud in the skies of Tel Aviv or New York or Los Angeles.
Senator, do you want to see regime change? Do you think that happens soon? And what would the future look like in that regard?
Look, I think it is very much in the interest of America to see regime change. I don't think there's any redeeming the Ayatollah. He is filled with hatred. You know, I'll tell you a story that's a little bit amazing. The former head of the Iranian nuclear program, a man whom many say was sent to meet his maker by the Mossad, the Israeli intelligence forces. He had written in his last will and testament that he wanted the following words written on his tombstone. Here lies a man who sought to annihilate Israel. Maria, think of the level of bilious hate. When that's the only thing you want to be remembered for is I am such a bigot, such an anti-Semite, filled with so much hate that the entire purpose of my life is to murder as many Jews as possible. That's what we're dealing with, religious fanatics. So it is unquestionably in America's interest to see a secular regime. You know, before the revolution, Iran was a secular country that was an ally of America. I think the people want to go back to that.
Oh, good. Good. We need regime change, too. Where did we hear that? We heard that ad nauseum about Saddam Hussein. Oh, my God, he's going to come over to America and kill Americans. Death to America. Look at all those weapons of mass destruction. Oh, he's going to mushroom clouds over New York City, and, oh, we got to get rid of him. Yes, absolutely. Let's all go. We're all gung-ho to go. 23 years later. Going toward a third decade of war in the Middle East. Afghanistan, the same thing. They live in caves. Yemen, one of the poorest nations in the Middle East. Libya, we got to have regime change there. We got to kill their leaders. Syria, oh, we got to have regime change there. Egypt, same thing. We got to just keep bombing these people into smithereens. Why? Oh my God, JJ, don't you know? No, I don't know. Well, don't you know that there'll be mushroom clouds all over the United States of America? Wait a minute, the goat herders, the people live in caves. Well, yeah, they're going to come over here and kill us. The Iranians are going to blow us up. What? Oh yeah. And then when you go through this mental gymnastics with them and say, no, you're a liar. Well, they're going to kill all the Jews. Okay. So my son will be 18 in a couple of years. So my son has to go fight for the Jews in the Middle East, in countries that we can't find on the map. And he's going to be maimed, mentally impaired because of war, because no one comes out of war. I'm going to send my son, my beautiful son, he's going to come back a different man, either mentally changed, limbs, skin burnt off, limbs missing, or God forbid, dead. That's what I have. That's my skin in the game for the Jews. For Israel. My son has to go fight Yemenis. My son has to go into Iran because the people are oppressed. Wait a minute. Well, why don't the people take their country back? I don't remember any Iranians coming into our Revolutionary War. Were there Iranians that came in to help us stop being oppressed by the Brits? I don't remember that. Do you see the absurdity? It's the same movie. You ever watch a movie and you're like, this movie is it's the same script put in a different location and changed some names. I've seen this movie about 1,000 times. I'm bored out of my mind. The same thing. Let's go back to Vietnam. Same rhetoric. Got to kill them there, or they're going to kill us over here. Okay, let's send 50,000 of the greatest of our youth and let them die over there. Don't worry, we'll create a great monument for our stupidity of all the dead people and the millions and millions and millions of lives that were ripple affected and destroyed because we're in some war, some stupid ass war that we should never been in, ever have been in. This is going to rip MAGA apart. We're already seeing this through Tucker Carlson, Mark Levin, Donald Trump. It is a division within MAGA. MAGA wanted illegal aliens out of our country. We didn't want any excuses. We don't want any half-ass ideas. We want them gone, and we want no more war. We don't want to be a part of the Middle East conflict ever again. What is Donald Trump doing? Quasi-amnesty, and we're going to go to war. You don't have to agree with any of my analysis. You may think that I'm completely wrong and you're on the other side, but I promise you that this will rip the MAGA movement completely in half. It will. As war keeps going on, and as we see these no target, no kings protest, you need to take your power back by going to a program, to a company that makes American products in America for Americans. They're healthy. They're not filled with plastics. Look, we're drinking. My wife and I were talking about last night. We got to get the water filtration system they have. We got it because we're drinking water out of these plastic bottles and we're getting plastics in us. We're using lotions and shampoos that have metals in it. We're buying food that we don't know what type of hormones they have, mRNA. So we have started and almost fully switched over to patriotsmade.com. patriotsmade.com/JJ. Hundreds of viewers of my program have already shifted. Hundreds. patriotsmade.com/JJ. Stop giving your money to the big box stores. Perfect example. Example 1 of why not to do this. The billionaire heiress of Walmart, who don't think that she doesn't have a say into Walmart, Christy Walton, supported and funded the No Kings protest across America. How many billions of dollars in damage and billions of dollars of manpower, law enforcement, military manpower had to be used? A lot. Thank you, box stores, for funding the demise of America. Go to patriotsmade.com/JJ. Got 3 minutes left. It's fast show. I talk about masculinity a lot on my show because I believe it is it's the silver bullet. I really do. Masculinity is common sense. Masculinity is doing the right thing when no one wants you to do the right thing, but you know you have to. Masculinity is speaking the truth. I want you to watch this Florida sheriff describe to you what you can expect if you come into his county. And this is exactly what every sheriff needs to be saying and then acting on it. Play this for us, Caleb.
So I'm gonna break it down for you, all right? And if somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent, all right, this is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop. You're watching what's taking place out there. You're seeing police officers that are being attacked, being spit on, being put in harm's way just for doing their jobs. You're seeing ICE agents that are being targeted for doing their jobs. And you're seeing obstructionists that are doing all of this, standing in the way of law and order.
Amen, brother. I will guarantee you that his sheriff deputies all feel empowered. And you better not go into his county in Florida because he will graveyard dead you. It's the truth. Is that the rule in law enforcement? No, that's the exception, my friends. I know it's hard to believe, but that's an anomaly. That man's an anomaly. You want to see what the rule is, then go watch the LAPD sheriff, LAPD chief of police. Big cities, Chicago, go listen to those nimrods. That's why you need to be prepared. Because that sheriff, those sheriff deputies, they're the exception. We are ruled by people that are evil. We are ruled by tyrants, and we are ruled by people that do not care about you. Unless you're Israel and you're an illegal alien, then that's a protected class in America. Buckle up. We're in for a long haul.
You're watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House.